It's one of the greatest moments in New Zealand cricket history. It really is. It's hard to quantify right now. Teams don't come here and beat India once, let alone twice. And for a New Zealand team to do it without one of their star batters in Kane Williamson, I think it's just a phenomenal performance. And also to do it with spin in Indian conditions. It's very, very close to the top of the tree as far as I'm concerned. I think you get used to playing on such good wickets, and when it does turn, techniques get exposed a little bit. And for a long time when India have played on turning surfaces, they've still had the best spinners in the world in Jadeja and Ashwin, and so they've been able to undo other sides. Today, or this Test match, they were undone by a New Zealand side that, with all due respect, is not a world-class spin bowling attack. So that will be a concern of some sorts. And I've said in the last couple of days, there's a misconception, I think, that the Indian players are better players of spin. I think simply they've had better spinners and they've been able to expose the opposition batters. Whereas in this Test match in particular, their batters were exposed a little bit by a very, very good performance from Mitchell Santner. So is it a concern? It's a little bit of a trend at times, but I don't know that there's many sides around the world that play spin in turning conditions really, really well. I think winning the toss is crucial. For Rohit, the wrong decision in Bangalore was crucial, and he's admitted to that as well. And New Zealand seamers took advantage of that, winning the toss in this Test when you knew it was going to turn. And it might not have looked like a big score, 259 in the first innings, but it was made to look like a really big score because the ball was turning, some was getting on. So I think Tom Latham's captaincy was outstanding for the most part throughout. Rohit might have been, people say he might have been a touch defensive, but that comes down to the bowlers. They're very, very senior spin bowlers in that side. They will have a part to play in what field they want as well. If you can't trust an Ashwin or a Jadeja to set his own field, you can't rely on Rohit or blame Rohit for that all the time. I think that the bowlers have to have some part to play in that as well. His issues against spin, he's not the only one, and you're not going to find those conditions in Australia. He's had great series down under, he's had great series in Australia. He plays quick bowling still, I think, as well as he has for the last 4 or 5 years, so I don't think it's a concern. Completely different conditions, so they have to forget about this series. They could go out and win the third Test in Wankhede and go down to Australia with a little bit more confidence. Completely different conditions. Quick bowlers will be required. Their batters, I think, will be a lot better off on good surfaces, and that's what you tend to get in Australia. So really good batting conditions. It'll come down to how they play the quick bowlers from Australia, the tall, slightly bouncier bowlers, but they've got the batters to do the job, I think, in good conditions. And if later on in the Test matches, whether it be in Perth or whether it be in Sydney, it starts to turn and bounce a little bit, then their spinners will come into play. I'd like to think so, but I think India will bounce back really well in Mumbai.